The latest Star Trek show, Starfleet Academy, has been canceled and will end after season number 2. You already knew that, but now you're about to find out why. Kurtzman? Well, let's just say Paramount may have had no other way around it. Ratings and viewership so low, you can't even believe it. The question is, did Kurtzman know it when he went and gloated at the Saturn Awards? It's a great day. It's a groovy day. Thank you, folks, for coming our way as we continue to explain entertainment. And today, we've got info you need to know, not only if you're a Trekkie, but if you're anybody who's wondered, what is this black that Hollywood is giving us over and over again? Well, it turns out Kurtzman's Star Trek simply could not go on anymore. For reasons we'll get into, click the like button. And let's do it right now. I'm feeling great. I'm feeling grand. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm feeling much better than Kurtzman can. Why? Well, out of that Park Place. Take a look at this from Trevor Denning. Lauren, you're going to love this one. Starfleet Academy viewership plummets. Now, that's a headline. That is crisp. That is succinct. Folks, it relays how much this is sinking and never to rise again. Get ready. The numbers are insane. According to a source close to Star Trek Starfleet Academy, viewership for the streaming series may be far worse than early reports suggested, signaling a troubling trend for the franchise. Speaking on a podcast, YouTuber Mike Staccato, I'll go with Asa, said, I heard from my source the entire first season of Star Trek Starfleet Academy, not individual episodes, the entire season total views, about 400,000. Not per episode. Cumulatively, the entire series, about 400,000 views, which is an average of maybe 40,000 views per episode. Now, I think this was an 8 episode, is that right?
10.
Oh, never mind, it's 40. Okay, well, that math checks out. 40,000 views per episode. It's worth noting that Starfleet Academy was positioned as a flagship series on Paramount Plus with a marketing budget to match. Anyone opening the app should have been aware of the latest entry, yet audiences appear to have chosen almost anything else. For comparison, the popular YouTube channel Nerdrotic has a season 1 review that has 286,000 views in a single week, more than 7 times the viewership of an average episode of Starfleet Academy. Folks, it is very easy now to say that Gary at Nerdrotic made more money than anybody that worked on Starfleet Academy. Also, let's not forget that his live stream, his impromptu live stream featuring an action figure of Spock sitting silently, totally still, stoic, staring at the camera, probably had bigger viewership than any episode also of Starfleet Academy. Andy, I want to go to you first as our resident Starfleet Academy expert. I know you've watched every single second. Andy, what are you haven't watched it either?
I was washing my hair.
Andy, we assigned it. You told us you had to burp your Tupperware. Now it's wash your hair. Fine, whatever. Andy, what is going on? How is it even possible to drive Star Trek this far into the ground?
I think Star Trek is much more of a niche property than Star Wars is. So you're actually only appealing to your hardcore Star Trek fans, and you chase them away with the Star Feet. There's not that many Quentin Tarantino club members out there that like feet that much. So, they desecrated every single thing. I mean, outside of Kathleen Kennedy destroying everything George Lucas ever created, finding a way to demolish that, I think Kurtzman did the best job of it, like with his systematic dismantling of every single thing that was great about Star Trek. He doesn't get what Star Trek was about. He doesn't get the hope and the optimism. It's not about identity. It's not about, we're past all that. That's the whole idea of Star Trek. We're on to new things. We've overcome like all the things that have held people back, and now we're on to something new. And Kurtzman was like, no, I have to use this as a platform for the message. My biggest regret with all of this is that Andy Weir actually had to backpedal on this. I don't know if it would have been career suicide for him to stick to his guns, but God, he would have been the most popular guy out there if he had just stayed firm and said, no, look, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be insulting Alex Kurtzman, but you made crap. And the viewership reflects that.
All right, Lauren, let's talk about that. So Andy's going right where I'm going. Aaron Sparrow has this. Aaron says, amazing that we all got to witness how fast Hollywood reminded Andy Weir in real time. That's the author behind The Martian as well as Project Hail Mary. I mean, he right now is the best in sci-fi, period. There's nobody better. And yet, Aaron Sparrow says, Hollywood reminded Andy Weir in real time that when you're famous, you're not allowed to say true things that everybody thinks anymore. You will be given the approved script. Andy, Mark Ruffalo, and Pedro Pascal will be by to drop it off. You can see here, one day, the Hollywood Reporter says, Project Hail Mary author Andy Weir says Paramount rejected his Star Trek pitch. Their shows are crapola. He said this with Critical Drinker on his podcast. And then days later, Andy Weir apologizes to Alex Kurtzman following controversial comments about modern Star Trek series. But what he said was absolutely true. Geeks and Gamers has this one from the Saturn Awards. Kurtzman talking about Star Trek and what they were up to. 40,000 views, folks, 40,000 views. Sacrifice it. Why? For the message, the golden calf of Hollyweird. Here it is. Here's what Kurtzman had to say before we got to really laughing at him about how just bad these ratings are.
Gene Roddenberry had this lightning bolt of an idea, and I think he understood something fundamental about the nature of science fiction and genre storytelling, which is that science fiction is not really about the future, it's about now. It is the prism through which the looking glass, the magnifying glass through which we examine ourselves, the state of humanity, who we are, what we're capable of, and where we're going.
So it's about the message. Lauren, Kurtzman doesn't have to apologize. He gets 40,000 views per episode. He's defeated by many YouTube channels in terms of viewership, including YouTube channels covering his show, making fun of it, getting better viewership than his show. He doesn't have to apologize, but Andy Weir, the most successful sci-fi writer out there right now, he has to apologize. Make it make sense for me, please, Lauren.
I probably can't do that. But I would say to Andy, the utility of an ideology is whether or not it actually describes a world that comports with cause and effect. And if your ideology is not doing that, people will not adopt it. Do you think that the message that you're pushing is being adopted right now or not? Do the facts bear that out? If it's withering, of what utility is it? It's apparently not. And they're slow to get this message, but they will get it. And I think that that's part of what we're seeing right now. I think shareholders of the studios are reading the balance sheets and they are recognizing that they are dangerously close or already into the red. And I think they are now beginning to say, we're putting the brakes on this stuff. I don't think that they've yet done it. I don't think that they have turned the ship yet. And I think an awful lot depends on the midterms. But unless they can start getting stable revenue in and start improving the balance sheets, there's going to be more layoffs. There's going to be less productions that go into production. And you're going to have more actors that are out of work. And I think when that starts happening, they start getting a lot more quiet about their ideology. And I think that's why you're seeing some of these people now saying, I don't want to talk about politics. That's not my job here. You don't want to hear me talk about politics. And that's very true. They're trying to protect their bag. Let's support them in doing that.
Absolutely. And I do want to defend Andy Weir, because I don't want people to have the wrong thought on this. I think Andy Weir is just a really nice guy. And I think his apology came from not fear that he's going to be canceled, but rather he just wants to be a nice guy and he hated that he had said something harsh. However, Wizard, the ratings are harsh for Starfleet Academy. And I know that you're cynical and a little bit, you're skeptical that Hollywood will ever get back together. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Wiz, I don't think they had a choice. And that's why I join you in the skepticism right now. The ratings are so low, there's nothing they could do. 40,000 views, they had to cancel. There's nothing, there's no way, there's no path. There's just, this is abysmal. And so thus they had to pull the plug. What do you say?
I don't even know where to begin on that. The idea that Star Trek can't get over 400,000 views for the entire season that's mind blowing. I mean, we knew things are bad, but this is a whole new reality of bad. I mean, like, that's where we are. That's where we're at now as a culture, is where Star Trek is so nobody's tuning in. Nobody even knows that this show exists at that point. That's it. We're done. It's not, you could put all the marketing dollars behind it. People don't even know it exists to not watch it. Like, this is insane to me.
Let's say some things that you would be too humble to say. You ready? Wiz, you often get 120,000 views on your videos. They're excellent.
Sometimes.
They're long form. I know some of them don't. Even your lower performing ones, though, are beating this.
Yes.
Wiz, I don't know the exact budget. I don't remember off the top of my head. If you guys remember, feel free to share it. The exact budget per episode for Starfleet Academy.
The last quote we had was that this season and the next season were funded together, and it was around $200 million.
All right, well, that's easy. $100 million per season, 10 episodes, $10 million. All right. Wiz, you're tripling their viewership on many of your videos. Wiz, I'm going to ask you something that's quite personal. What would you say is your budget per video that triples their ratings? They're spending $10 million. How many million are you spending, Wiz?
Clearly too much, but I think I have like a rubber band and like the toilet paper insert. Like we use that as a microphone and some string. Like we use that sometimes. I'm wearing a fake wizard outfit, bro. Like
from Spirit Halloween. And he's
look at this green screen. It's not even the whole size of the screen here.
You really, man, it's time to upgrade that.
This goes to my point. He's summoning spirits. You see? It's right in front of you. The man has powers.
Yeah, it's like, no, it's crazy that is where we're at, but it makes it more absurd that if I'm Kurtzman, I'm not sleeping at night personally. Like if I know that I like that much money's on the table and no one's watching it, and I'm the laughing stock, and I've got Gary, this guy nerdrotic who is strapping Spock to a chair, it's getting more views than my $100 million show. That keeps me up at night. I wouldn't be able to live with myself there. But then to have the audacity on top of that to continue lecturing at the audience that you're right and they're wrong is a new level of I can't believe you. We need to stop listening to these people. We are actually. It doesn't matter. We are because we're not watching their shows.
And Wizard, try to force the most popular sci-fi author of our time to apologize. Kiss the butt, kiss the ring, apologize.
Of what? If I'm Andy Weir and I know this information, I'm putting out another statement saying, I retract my apology. I fully meant it. Like, at this point, what are you bending the knee to? This man killed Star Trek. It's gone. It's dead. Here's the reality of Star Trek. It's not coming back. It'll come back. They'll make more Star Trek. It'll never be what it once was. It'll never be even to the point of when they were doing the Chris Pine films. It'll never be that big again. So they better figure out what the budget's going to be, because it's a dead brand. It's not coming back to the way it was.
What if they get rid of everything except for the original series and the next generation? Like, just everything's gone.
People, you could spend all the money in the world, as they did. They spent money on marketing for this thing. People don't. That's Star Trek. That's Grandpa's show. They're done. People are done, and you're not getting the youth. This show was made for the youth of Los Angeles, and they're probably the only ones that tuned in.
Portland tried.
The Utes.
The Utes did not show up. Oh, Andy, I'll give you the final word on it. Your thoughts on where Star Trek is versus where it could have been and where it was once upon a time.
I don't know the formula for this. I think that the original series I grew up with, it was exciting, it was fun, it was adventurous. I did like Deep Space Nine. I thought that had some, it had action to it. It was an interesting concept. I did not care for Voyager, and I think they lost their way somewhere with Enterprise. I think Enterprise could have been a much better show. Is there an audience in the future for it? I don't know, because I don't know if the kids today have the attention span to actually care about science fiction where the science actually makes sense with reality. I think that we've gotten to this point where if it's not spoon-fed to them, they didn't see it on screen, I don't know if the younger audiences today actually know that it happened. Like, we grew up in a time where a couple would get together, the leading man would lean in and kiss the leading lady, and it would fade to black, and we all know what happened. And then you say that to these younger, like, no, that didn't happen. They didn't go in the bedroom and like that. I didn't see it on screen. It didn't happen. Like, you're like, well, there's an insinuation. There's like you have to actually put 2 and 2 together with that. And I think that we've gotten.
Tell me more. I just go into detail.
Oh, if only he could. He's been washing his hair.
but the attention span of the audience, I don't know if that's there anymore. If it's not something frenetic and happening in a million miles a second and giving them immediate stimulation, I don't know if we have skilled storytellers, but you're telling it to an audience that is already invested in idiocracy. I don't know if it's going to work. Can you save it? I think you could definitely. There's enough of a fan base out there where you could make something, especially if you started using AI for the special effects. You could make something cheap enough where you could probably actually make money on it. But as it is right now, I don't know.
So I know I said I'd give you the final word, Andy, and I probably still will. I'll probably come back to you, but I just wanted to add this and see what you guys think about it. I think where Star Trek may have completely fallen apart is I don't believe that the writers in Hollywood today, I don't believe they believe in a future. I don't think they believe in something worth fighting for. They actually, they have latched on this idea that humanity is like a virus on the planet. We need less people, not more. They've taken on this viewpoint that we're destroying the earth, that there is this oppression class, that science and technology are actually parts of the patriarchy and we don't need to do that. There's no objective truth. There's just power. And all of that destroys foundationally what Star Trek was about.
Yeah, and there's no good or bad either.
No. It's all
no good or bad.
It's all relative. All relative. And again, once you say it's my truth versus your truth, it's just about power.
So you're saying that good and bad is binary.
That's where we are. That's where Star Trek is.